In this video series, we're going to talk about crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is a solution that allows you to gather information from your end users. Generally speaking, it's used to populate a directory or to augment content already in a directory. Classic example is a business profile you might find on Yelp or Google, and you want to claim that location as your own business. Maybe provide some photos, update the phone number, provide some additional information about your products and services. The other scenario is where you're adding profiles to a directory and maybe maintaining those going forward. And so crowdsourcing essentially allows you to crowdsource the data in your locator and gather it from the people who visit your locator. In this video, we're going to cover a few of the common scenarios that administrators encounter and end users encounter when they're using the software. One of the most common introductions to crowdsourcing is what MetaLocator terms a crowdsourcing campaign. That's when you send to your prospective users a link that allows them to create a profile within your locator. The details of how to create that link aren't going to be covered in this video, but let's imagine for a moment that you received an email inviting you to create a profile in a locator. And when you click that link, you're going to get a call to action similar to this: create profile, and it includes name and email. Everything you see here is customizable, but let's keep it simple for this example. I'm going to go ahead and fill out some information, including my name and email. I'll agree to the terms of use and hit submit. That will redirect me to the form where I can add my content. And so I'm going to go ahead and complete this. Let's say this represents my pizza delivery shop. I want to enter in the phone number. I also want to enter in my address. The cool thing about this address form is as I type, it's actually geolocating my location and making address suggestions nearest me. The other thing that I can do is, now that it's positioned this dot on the map where I physically am, I can drag the map to drop the marker right where my front door is. I can indicate Suite 110 and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That all got filled out automatically when I typed in my address above. I could upload a photo, which I won't do in this video, and then I can hit submit. In this setup, we have enabled a particular feature called content staging. Notice the alert to the user says your edits have been received but are under review by an administrator. The next part that we will show is what happens as an administrator, how I can review this content, maybe suggest changes to it, and otherwise approve it. Since a user has submitted information to my directory, as an administrator, I just got a notification that lets me know that a user has added a location. That'll come straight to my email with a bold call to action that says review request. So I can see here that came to my email, and let's go ahead and log in and see what that looks like. I can see the information that was provided by the user, including the name, any categories that were chosen, the address, the phone number, and all the details there. Any custom fields would have come through here. And now I have the opportunity to approve or reject this submission. So I can click on versions, which is where this is managed. I can see that this is the original first version of the pizza delivery location. And in this video, I'm going to approve this, assuming that I like exactly what I see. It'll ask me, am I sure that I'm going to do this? And in this case, I'm going to check the box to notify the user that their location has been approved. I can also optionally publish this location. Right now, this location is approved, but has not been published. Published manages whether or not the location can be viewed by the general public in my locator. Sometimes that can be a separate decision. In this video, I'm actually going to also publish the location. Status has been updated. Now let's switch back to our scenario as if we were the end user, and let's look at the notification that they just received that their location was approved. As an end user, I've just received a couple emails. One is that my content was approved, and it includes that little balloon icon and congratulations emoji. And then also a request to choose a password for my account. So the contents of these emails are fully customizable. And so my content has been approved, and I also have the option to choose a password for my account. Now, I don't necessarily have to take any action at this point if I'm not going to make any revisions. My content has been approved, it's live on the site, and I may or may not choose to make further edits. Let's consider for a moment if I forgot my fax number, or maybe I mistyped my own location name. Let's go through the process of making a modification to this location. And I'm going to begin that process by clicking Set Your Password so that I can access the data that I've provided. I'm going to copy this link and switch over to Firefox so that I am logged in as a different user. Clicking that link takes me to a box that allows me to reaffirm my email and verification code. Those are provided in the email, but they're also automatically filled in to this box. I'll go ahead and click Submit to continue. And now it's going to allow me to choose a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what I'll choose. And hit Submit. Now that I've chosen a password, I can go ahead and log in and hit Submit. I'm successfully logged in, and now it will say that I can edit any records to which I've been granted access. I'll click OK. I only have the one location, and so the system is going to automatically bring up this Edit Profile box. It will also bring up the Edit Profile box if I were to create another location. And so if I wanted to make an additional change, let's say it's actually Pizza Delivery 2, and maybe I wanted to put a digit at the end of my phone number. And then maybe also if I wanted to drag and drop that marker a little bit over to the right, I can go ahead, make those changes, and hit Submit. And now the process begins all over again. And now the location has been saved. Those edits are not live yet. They're under review. And so now we can switch back to our email as if now we were the administrator and see what that process looks like. In this case, we get a different email. It says this user has updated a location and those edits are awaiting approval. Once again, I can click on the review request. The subject of this email is a little bit different because a different thing occurred. I modified an existing location as an existing user. I did not add a new location as a new user, and that's why those emails are a little bit different. So let's go back and review this request. We come back to the same location, and once again we can look at versions, and we can see now that we've got a couple different versions available. One of them is brand new, and it shows that it shows the entire version history for this location, and I can go in and view these particular changes. Notice I can see the revision as compared to the current live value of this particular location. So I can see that this came in as Pizza Delivery 2, and then the lat long were also slightly changed. I'm okay with these changes, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Approve. I can also optionally notify the user that I accepted their edits. So I'll click OK, and that has been now moved to the live version. So notice now this record says Pizza Delivery 2. Now, as the end user, I received a notification that my edits were accepted. Let's switch back and look at what that looks like. It says, once again, your content has been approved, and I get a congratulations message and a little note that includes the details about this particular location. This cycle can continue forever, meaning that users have the ability to submit an infinite number of changes, and that admins will be subject to going in and making those changes as they come in, essentially allowing you to review those changes individually and accept or reject them as necessary. The next thing we'll talk about is rejecting changes. Let's say, for example, we received a profile that included some inappropriate content, maybe profanity, or maybe it had some misspellings or something like that. So the next thing we'll do is we'll switch back to our end user role, consider ourselves as somebody who is registering with this particular directory and making some changes that are that we plan to reject. So let's switch back over to Firefox here, and in this case I'll begin my process from here, and we'll make a couple other changes. In this case I'll make a spelling error and hit submit. Once again, those changes are staged. As an administrator, I will get a notification once again that those edits are awaiting approval. And I'll go in and I'll see that under versions that we have this new version, Pizza Delivery 2, and I can view these, and I observe this particular element as having a spelling error. Now I can request changes instead of approving them. I can enter in an optional message that says you misspelled delivery. Click OK. That version has been rejected. Now, as the end user who submitted that typo, I would have received a new message that says edits have been needed. And this message again is fully customizable, and it says your edits to the following location requires changes before it can be approved. The note that I typed in that I misspelled delivery is there. And so I can go in now again as the user who would be receiving this, and I can make those additional changes. So I can make another edit and properly spell it and hit save. And once again, another version gets submitted, and as an administrator, I have the ability to go in to review the request, go into the versions, and in this case, approve it. And I'll notify the user that they spelled it correctly this time. And that's ultimately the flow that will allow you to both gather new information and allow end users to make changes to existing information within your locator, allowing you full control over the content of those individual messages, and also allowing you full workflow approval to make sure that the content of the directory is exactly as you like it.